Well, hello, and a very warm welcome back to the Andrew Eborn Show with me, Andrew Eborn. And one of the highlights of the last couple of years is getting to meet my next special guest and actually getting not just to meet him, but also to meet his family as well. The brilliant Sebbie Hall and Ashley. They're here now. How are you both?
Hi, how are we?
All good.
We're good, thanks, Andrew.
It
Hi.
is it is so good to see you. And Sebbie, I think you've just come back. Was it the Duke of Edinburgh you've been doing today?
We've been doing Duke of Edinburgh
The bronze
Award.
award.
Bronze Award.
Ah, amazing. I remember doing that when I was at school as well. It's such a good award. It's a fantastic stuff. Are you exhausted? Are you okay?
He's a little bit red-eyed, I can see here, actually. And he's just been with his youth group. He's funded also some young people to go on a holiday in an organization that he funds to Spain. And he had 5 days in Spain with 18 young adults
Wow.
and some people looking after them, some adults with disabilities. And then he got back on Friday night and went straight to D&V on Saturday. So I think after this, you're going to go to bed, aren't you, sir?
I'm exhausted just hearing about it all. It sounds like, well, the Sebbie Hall, this is a brilliant thing. It's about the Sebbie Hall Kindness Foundation, which was founded in 2022, which is when we first met on GB News on the Neil Oliver Show. Tell me about the Sebbie Hall Kindness Foundation.
Okay, well, Sebbie, shall we tell Andrew, shall we remind Andrew, because we're great friends with Andrew, you've known before, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you want to help other people? What did you say to me one day? Kindness is your
Superpower.
superpower. So one day, 4 years ago in
Lockdown.
lockdown, that's right, you wanted to buy somebody a
Laptop.
that's right, a laptop. And why didn't they have a laptop, Sebbie? Because they were disadvantaged. Disadvantaged. So somebody Sebbie knew in lockdown was quite disadvantaged and didn't have any IT devices to do when all the schools closed, do the whole homeschooling on. So Sebbie decided that he wanted to give him his as an act of kindness. Because Sebbie decided that he, as he's just said, kindness he found was his superpower. So from there, we said to Sebbie, well, you can't just go and give him yours because then you won't have one. Yeah, Sebbie wouldn't have one himself. So we had a chat about how you help other people. And what did we talk about? We talked about
Charities.
charities. And what do charities do, Sebbie? Raise
Money.
So how much money did you decide you were going to raise to buy this boy a laptop? What?
100.
£1,000. Initially, £1,000. And how did you tell me you were going to do that? By doing
100 kindness.
And how many random acts of kindness did you want to do in 10 days?
100
random acts of kindness in 10 days. So because Sebbie wanted to do he did 10 a day for 10 days. And in our local area, people started hearing about Sebbie Hall because it was locked down and he was outside doing things like washing people's bins, hand sanitizing, giving sanitizer out to people, all that sort of lockdowny type stuff. And people wanted to give him money, but nobody wanted to handle any money at that stage. So somebody set up a Just Giving page, and within the week, you'd raise what?
£1,000.
And because everybody was so happy when Sebbie did a random act of kindness for them, how does it make people feel, Seb?
Happy inside.
Happy inside. And then how did it make you feel?
Happy inside.
Happy inside as well. Sebbie decided that he really had got a superpower of kindness and never wanted to stop. So that was, how many years ago was that, Sebbie?
4 years.
4 years ago. And Sebbie has gone on and done incredible amounts of acts of kindness. He's done one every day for 4 years, if not many more. And we have so many incredible stories because Sebbie's realized that kindness, we've realized, we've learned from this, kindness is a great leveler. And Sebbie has done all sorts of things for all sorts of people. Who have you worked with? So who have you worked to help?
Homeless.
Homeless people. What did you do for the homeless people? Collected
Coats.
coats. He's raised so much money for disabled and disadvantaged young people. So basically what's happened is he does the random acts of kindness every day. They are, like I say, sometimes big, sometimes small. Sebbie's, over the last 3 years, I know that he has collected enough tins and food to feed 3,000 meals.
Wow.
In the food banks, worked with homeless organizations, but as well as doing really small random acts of kindness, just saying hi to somebody, being smiley. What else do you do every week, Sebbie, with your pocket money? Buy
A lottery ticket.
a lottery ticket every week. And what do you do with your lottery tickets? Choose a
Stranger.
And what do you say when you give them a lottery ticket?
Good luck. No string.
Good luck, stranger, no strings attached. Why do you want to give out lottery tickets, Ed? Because you want to make somebody a millionaire. Now we haven't heard that we've made somebody a millionaire yet, but we're still hoping. What else have you done, Sebs? What do you do on the aeroplane? Buy scratch
cards.
Why do you buy the scratch cards on the aeroplane? To make it the
Plane in the sky.
The happiest plane in the sky. So 6 flights now. Use the money that he's raised, not only to help organizations and young people with disabilities to prevent them feeling lonely, but also for other children's charities. So the scratch cards on some of the airplanes the money goes to children's charities. So it's sort of hand in hand. So Sebbie had the idea to make the planes the happiest planes in the sky. So 6 flights now over the last 4 years. Sebbie has bought every single person on the plane over the age of 18 a scratch card. And the atmosphere, the minute they announce it, saying nobody has to buy their scratch card, we're buying every single person a scratch card. It's like the whole flight becomes a big family, isn't it? Or like a party. It just changes the mood of the flight. And we've had a couple of people that have won a little bit off the scratch cards. We've had one lady win £395 on the lottery. She got in touch with us.
£395? Good heavens.
Yeah. But Sebbie gives lottery tickets out every week to a random stranger.
Right.
The Easter eggs at Easter, every Easter for the last 3 years, some Easter egg companies have kindly donated. They heard about Sebbie, wanted to be the real live Easter bunny.
Well, I think I saw a picture of that at Easter. And did you dress up as a bunny, Sebbie?
What did you do, Seb? You dressed up as a bunny and you hop
round.
For how long did you hop round? 7
hours.
7 hours he
Wow.
hopped round, delivering 365 massive Easter eggs to doors. And then when you hopped off, you were going, well, how did you do it? You were going, shh, shh, shh. And we still now meet people because we went to various different towns to do them over the last couple of years. And we only met someone the other day that said, you're Sebbie Hall.
Yeah. I
had a big Easter egg on my front door 2 years ago. People still remember. It's just fabulous, fabulous things. And you've got a Sebbie Teddy. You wanted to show Andrew?
A Sebbie Teddy. Oh, let's have a look. What are you going to show me?
Go on, show a Sebbie Teddy. This one's a bit poorly. This one's got a few disadvantages, I'm afraid. But this is a Sebbie Teddy, and Sebbie's got a Sebbie Teddy, and the money goes to help prevent people feeling
lonely.
And what do you do with a Sebbie Teddy? You stuff
kindness.
You stuff the back with kindness, and then you put a kindness heart in it, and you stuff the back with kindness, and then you give out with what comes with a Sebbie Teddy is a card. And what does the card say? You've got to have to someone else. To someone else. You've got to hand it out to somebody else to pass on Sebbie's mission to change the world with kindness. So this Teddy comes with this and this, and then its own card that you then give out to somebody else. And then this year, so you had an idea. You wanted to give out everlasting
flowers.
So that they're
great idea.
Always smile. Show Andrew. This is for you, Andrew, but we're going to send it down the magic TV.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, let's see if you can pass through one of those little teddies. Reach under your desk. Here we go. Just pass it under the table. Pass it under the table. Let's have a look. There we go. Let's have a look. And look what I have got.
A Sebbie teddy.
It is indeed one of these Sebbie teddies, and it's glorious. And I'm going to put one of those in the things. And I'll let you into a secret that this was, you might remember when you came to Neil Oliver's TV studio, and we've done a lot of TV together, you very kindly gave me one of those and a few others. And I tell you what's brilliant, Sebbie, what's brilliant is it's not just spreading kindness, but it's infectious. Your kindness, your wonderful positive attitude to life is so incredibly infectious.
Sebbie decided that everybody can be kind, no matter what they can do. Because Sebbie won't mind me saying a little bit about Seb, will you, Sebbie? Sebbie was born with a rare chromosome anomaly, and the prognosis was quite bleak in the sense that we weren't sure whether Sebbie would walk or talk or even sit up. And Sebbie has done all those things and then has found his own, as he said, he's got a superpower. And what Sebbie wants to do is, what do you want to do with kindness, Sebbie? Kindness defeats
evil.
Sebbie says kindness defeats evil. And therefore, anybody can help others by being kind. And what do you like to do with acts of kindness?
Melt people's hearts.
Melt people's hearts, which is a brilliant story because we met the Ice King or the Night King from Game of Thrones.
Oh, yes.
And Richard was at a Comic Con, and I know Richard from my past, but he was at this, but Sebbie doesn't. And he was at this Comic Con, and Sebbie looked at his picture because he's a really bad guy, and he's like that ice coloured. He looks like an ice monster, doesn't he?
Yeah. And
Sebbie said he wanted to give him a Sebbie teddy because he thought he could melt the Ice King's heart from Game of Thrones. So he gave him the Sebbie teddy, and what did Richard say? You have melted my heart. And then he said, if ever you do anything big, so once we set up the Sebbie Hall Kindness Foundation, Richard Brake is now a patron of the Sebbie Hall Kindness Foundation, along with Sebbie's great supporter, actor Eddie Marsan. And it's brilliant because Eddie and Richard are friends, aren't they? And also, we've got, Sebbie said, his foundation is all about kindness and acts of kindness. And he's got the bad guy as a patron because he melted his heart.
Oh, it's such a lovely story. It's wonderful stuff. So I've treasured that, Ted. And I remember the day when you came into the studio with Neil Oliver, and everybody but everybody, it was quite gloomy news day. We're having lots of gloomy news days. And you were the ray of sunshine, Sebbie. We loved having you there.
What do you say, Seb?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And I treasure this, Teddy. And we're going to put it, now that we've got, and you've given it to me now, I can give it to somebody else, can't I? I can follow what you say and spread kindness, because that's the best infectious thing of all, I think, is that sort of stuff. What I love about it is that you're helping other people, because lots of people get very miserable about what's going on in their own life. And actually talking, you've got your own challenges, as your mum says. But spreading that happiness is really, really good. Tell me a little bit more about the Sebbie Hall Kindness Foundation, because the idea is, obviously, you're trying to raise money, and then you can spread the good, not just with the gifts that you give. So tell me a bit more about that and how people can find it.
Yeah, well, it's not just about gifts either, as you said, because it's about random acts of kindness. So it can be as simple. Sebbie does things like give somebody a, I don't know, we had some umbrellas, and when it's raining gave out umbrellas, but also just helping somebody across the street or posting somebody's letter for them. Very simple things. Washing people's garage doors and watering their plants. So it doesn't always have to have a lot of money. One of the lovely things is buying somebody a Costa behind you in the drive-through. And then what do we do? We drive off and we hide. And we hide. And then you watch the person in the drive-through say, oh no, the person in the car in front paid for yours. And people just are so emotional. What do some people do? Cry. Sebbie saved up some change and took it to the local laundrette and said in a pot and said, if anybody hasn't got enough money to put their washing in the washing machine in the laundrette, I've saved a pot of change. And she cried. And what did she say? I've had a really bad day. I've had a really bad day, and now you've made my day. So yeah, it was lovely. So then the money then. So what happened was, after about 2 years, Sebbie had raised about £50,000. And then Sebbie started saying, oh, if he went to bed and hadn't done a random act of kindness, let's say one day, Sebbie was saying, oh no, somebody might now be sad. So we said, oh no, it doesn't work like that. Just because you don't do it doesn't mean say that it doesn't work like that. So we decided to help Sebbie along a little bit so that the pressure wasn't always on one boy trying to change the world, because that's what you want to do, isn't it, Sebbie? Sebbie wants to change the world with kindness, but he's just one person. So we said, well, if we call it something called the Sebbie Hall Kindness Foundation, and we do sebbiehall.com, then people can find you and they can help you, and they can perhaps raise money for you, or they can donate. So although Sebbie's doing a random act of kindness every day, he's still spreading his mission and the ripple effect of kindness. Then anyone else can now help. And where the money's gone so far, what have you done with your money so far, Sebbie? What did you do at Christmas? Give out what? 1,000.
1,000.
Theatre tickets to pantomimes to disadvantaged people across the West Midlands. Sebbie set up an arts hub, a mixability rugby club. What else have you done, Sebbie? We've helped equine therapy for the last 2 years, 2 courses that have 20 young people that are hearing impaired. Equine therapy. What else have you done, Sebbie? Supports many, many organisations that work to prevent loneliness in disadvantaged and disabled young people whilst spreading the mission of kindness. So a couple of schools locally have had Sebbie in as a talker in assembly, say to their children, what could you do? So that's lovely. So it's basically spreading that mission a little bit further. And then all the children then listen, and they all come up to Sebbie and shake your hand, don't they? And then they go away with their teachers and they have their own ideas of how they're going to go home that day. And they're going to do some random acts of kindness that week. So it's this whole ripple effect that moves on.
And it's absolutely glorious. And that's what I really love, these acts of kindness. And it's making people have a different outlook on life. Now, you were recognized as a result of this act of kindness. And I had the real honor and pleasure of spending a day with you. Tell me about that day.
What were we doing on that day when we met Andrew? We met Andrew before, but when we met Andrew, what were we doing? We were down by Tower
Bridge.
And what did we have unveiled at Tower Bridge? A statue. A statue of Sebbie Hall. So Sebbie, basically there was a competition that went out, and it was to find the UK's kind hero. And we didn't know anything about it. And somebody, well, quite a few people, I believe, nominated Sebbie, and he won the UK kind hero. And so the prize was a night in like a swanky hotel in London. And then this life-size, Sebbie-size statue was unveiled, wasn't it, Sebbie, at the side of Tower Bridge? Yeah. And you can talk about it to Andrew. It's okay, because Andrew knows the story. Yeah. And then Andrew came down to see it. Eddie Marsan was there. And it was a glorious, fun day, wasn't it?
It was absolutely glorious. And what was wonderful, apart from the statue being revealed, we managed to spend the day together afterwards. So we had lunch together. I even took you to a barber shop. Do you remember?
Yes, do you remember we went to the barbers? Oh, and then what did you do for the barber shop? A random act of kindness. You went out and gave 2 men a voucher to come back to the barber shop, if you remember. So while we were there, Sebbie gave some stranger, 2 strangers, a voucher. And that's another, actually, we were in Torquay, actually, about 6 months ago, and Sebbie decided there was a homeless person sitting outside the barbers. And Sebbie said, would he like a shave? And I said, Seb, I really don't know. I'm not sure. We need to go and ask the barbers first. They were like delighted. So out of Sebbie's pocket money, he went and he spoke to the man and said, I would like to, if you would like it, to take you in. And he was delighted, and he did. And this man who was sitting on the street had his face all washed, didn't he? And his hair done and his face. Oh, it was just amazing. That was a brilliant act of kindness, that one.
Oh, fantastic. And it was your first time for you having a shave by somebody else doing it, and your dad had. How did that make you feel?
How did you feel when you had a face? Did you feel smart?
No, it was really good. We had a good time with Memo, and also, as I say, that the lovely thing is we had a lovely lunch together as well, which is a very special time, because originally it was all planned. There was supposed to be a broadcast that came along, but you got a very late call, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. It was meant to be, I think it was Sky News that it was going to go on in the morning, and it was all really exciting that Sebbie was going to have the statue unveiled. And then there was something going on in Parliament that day. I can't remember, Andrew, do you? There was some big shift in Parliament. Do you remember? It was a really busy
Yeah,
day.
there's always a news cycle. This is always the problem. And they wanted an exclusive, didn't they? This particular broadcaster, they wanted an exclusive on that sort of basis. But because the news cycle changes as it always does, I got a phone call. Tell me about that.
What did you say? We were there. I said, "Oh, not to worry, Sebbie. No one's going to cover it in the news." And Sebbie said, "Ask that Andrew from GB News, because we spoke to you before." So we rang Andrew, and he was down like a shot as an act of kindness, wasn't he? And we spent the day with you, and it was glorious. And we did some acts of kindness. I think you interviewed some people. We went and interviewed some people. I've got some footage of that as well. You were interviewing people as random acts of kindness. There were a couple from America, if you remember, Andrew. And then we went off for a swanky dinner. I don't know if we're allowed to say where we went. We went somewhere very, very important, didn't we?
Well, it was an honour to take you to Lincoln's Inn, where we have lots of the barristers dine in this glorious old hall, and it's talk about Harry Potter. It's rather like Harry Potter's hall, isn't it?
Oh, it was like dining hall in Harry Potter, wasn't it? It was brilliant, wasn't it? Really lovely. And that's a lovely thing as well, Andrew. I mean, you are generous in your time and your kind. But what this has done as well, it's made all of us and people around realize that once you do one act of kindness to somebody, it starts coming back, and more people have more ideas, and it makes people do it themselves. And once you've done one act of kindness, you see the result from someone else. I can see why Sebbie doesn't want to stop, because it's infectious and it does have a ripple effect. And then everybody ends up being kind and everyone feels happy. We haven't had one negative experience, you know, whether it's been with total strangers, whether he's been challenging the Lord Mayor of Lichfield to a trolley dash to see who would get the most items in their trolley for the food bank in 10 minutes. Whatever it's been, people just join in, because it's just, there's nothing negative about being kind, really.
No, absolutely. So what do you have planned then, Sebbie, for your future acts of kindness?
What are we doing next semester? Sebbie wants to, you've just helped the Make-A-Wish Foundation at Alton Towers, which helps sick children go out for fun days. And what Sebbie's money has done is the Make-A-Wish Foundation give out the tickets, but they don't fund getting them there. So actually, sometimes a family might be able to have some tickets to get into a theme park or something, a Merlin theme park, but can't necessarily get there. So we've kind of talked with them and said, we don't want to just add to your pot that you're doing. What difference can Sebbie's acts of kindness make? And that's a little project at the moment that Sebbie's funded, you know, some families to go to the be able to get there, really. And also the Caldwell children. Sebbie was a Caldwell child when he was little. John Caldwell runs a fantastic organisation that does autism assessments as well as days out. And we went back to Caldwell children because Sebbie said he wanted to make Mr. Caldwell a millionaire, because he wanted to give him a lot
of tickets.
So because Mr. Caldwell had helped Sebbie when he was young, and because it's sometimes with disabilities it's hard to find things to do, especially if you can't be independent. So Sebbie wanted to give a bit back, so he's donated some money to John Caldwell, but also wanted to make John Caldwell a millionaire. I'm not sure whether he became a millionaire from that lottery ticket. He loved it, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he at the moment, Sebbie is about to meet a family at Caldwell that there's a certain amount of money, I think it's £500, to get an autism assessment at Caldwell children that you can't get that you might be waiting lists for in the social services or the NHS. So Sebbie's about to meet a family that he has funded for an autism assessment for their young person that they couldn't afford. So there's some quite nice little things, and the legacy that Sebbie wants to do, really. What do you want to build, Sebbie? A house to live. A house to live. Sebbie would like to have the Sebbie houses. The Sebbie Hall Kindest Foundation legacy could, like you have like an old sort of an aged village for retired people, and you have a village and you have a hub, but then, you know, what the idea would be if we could have any sort of legacy, and it seems a long way off in the distance, but as Sebbie said, you have got to have a dream, and once more you've made one dream, you dream again. You dream again. And the dream would be to be able to facilitate some sort of houses or villages that young adults with disabilities could live in and be together with people of their age group. They don't kind of exist, these places. And that would be a long-term vision if we could. And again, it's all about preventing isolation in young people with disabilities.
Really. And it's a glorious, glorious story. And Sebbie, I'm so proud, and it's such an honor to have met you and to continue on your journey. You talk about helping the Make-A-Wish Foundation. If you made a wish for yourself, you're always helping other people. What would you wish for?
What would you wish for? No. He wants more money for us. He wants to build the houses. That's what he wants to do, don't you? But also, he wants people to be
Happy.
Yeah, literally that, really, isn't it? So, yeah.
Well, it's a lovely wish, and as you say, happiness and kindness is contagious. You've got a wonderful poster behind you. If you move slightly, let's have a look. Tell me what that says. What does it say?
What does it say at the top, Sebbie? The Sebbie
Hall
Kindest Foundation. What does this word say here?
Sebbie.
And then underneath it says making people
Happy.
Inside. Spreading happiness to isolated young people. And then the final thing, what does Sebbie say? Kindness.
It's a superpower.
Kindness is a superpower.
And indeed it is. And you have got that superpower in buckets. I absolutely love it. Just finally then, people will see this and they're going to be inspired and they're going to be desperate to help out because it's such a fantastic cause. How can people help continue to spread the kindness?
Well, I think the thing is, I think this was never going to start out. This didn't start out to be anything particularly because Sebbie just wanted to raise £1,000 and did it so quickly. But Sebbie is one boy who wants to change the world, one act of kindness at a time. Now, obviously, we only reach the people that know of Sebbie. What would be brilliant is if Sebbie's story of through adversity, really, because also this is not easy for Seb. It's not easy for anyone to talk to strangers, is it? But if you have any communication difficulties, it's hard. And Sebbie keeps going, and he wanted to help all the Ukrainian orphans one day, for example, and he kept saying, we've got to help them, we've got to help them, got to help them. And then 52 of them arrived in Scotland, and he said, let's meet them. And we were like, we can't. But actually, because Sebbie kept saying, why not, we can. In the end, we found the man that got them across the border. We travelled to Scotland with 52 Sebbie teddies and some money and a big check, and we did help them, and we're still in touch with them now. And I think the most important thing is, this is one boy. These things, I can't believe the things that have happened through literally small acts of kindness that have grown. And I think how anyone could help is just to continue to spread Sebbie's story and Sebbie's mission of kindness. And if they would like to donate, then absolutely fantastic, because there is a cap on Sebbie's fundraising if no one else hears about it. So Sebbie's still doing...
And the website, sebbiehall.com?
It is. Yeah, sebbiehall.com. Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Fantastic stuff. Well, I will treasure, before I give it to somebody else, my Sebbie Hall teddy. Fantastic stuff. And finally, Sebbie, tell me how it made you feel when you had that statue specially presented at Tower Bridge. How did it make you feel?
Proud.
Really proud. I was just bonkers, wasn't it, as well? Brilliant. I'm so proud. It's just amazing, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well,
what was your time? Who was your favourite hero that you've met?
Boris.
Boris Johnson. He had an invite to have tea with Boris.
Oh, wow.
Well, I know he's done all sorts of things. This was a while ago. Yeah, that was another weird, proud moment for Sebbie to meet the Prime Minister. Yeah.
Did Boris give you anything? Did he get a teddy, or did you give him one?
What did you ask Boris to do? Wear a
balloon hat. Balloon
crown. And what did Boris do? Wore
a balloon crown.
A balloon crown. So Boris spent an hour with Sebbie and wore a balloon crown on his head. As a act of kindness to make people smile.
Brilliant. It has been such a pleasure catching up again. Sebbie, congratulations. Your kindness is infectious. I look forward to seeing you soon, very, very soon. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.